Hey everybody, Mark over here at Twanger's Turntable. Welcome. If you're new to my channel, thanks so much for stopping by, taking the time. I hope you'll find something here you'll like. Stick around, check some of my older videos. Don't go too far back, but feel free. Check them all out. If you're returning, you know me. Another outstanding member of the vinyl community. Today I'm back for another entry in the thread, the alphabet thread. And I'm at O's. Oh, say, can you see the vinyl that I'm going to show you? So I don't have a whole lot of O actually in my vinyl. Nobody's vault but mine. So I'm going to throw in a couple of compact discs here to compensate. It's a great thread started by Jacob over at his YouTube channel. I'll leave a link to his channel since he is the man that began this awesome thread. And there are a lot of people that have either taken part in the thread or continued to partake in it. And there are a lot of great videos. So if you haven't seen any of them, just do a search for the alphabet thread, or go over to like I say, Jacob's channel, and you'll see tons of these videos. So without further ado, I'm gonna get going here. I want to keep these videos, I try to keep them under 15 minutes, sometimes easier said than done. So as I alluded to, I'm going to start off with a couple of compact discs, and I suspect these won't be all that well known outside of the Canadian borders. Maybe some folks south of the 49th may have heard of these guys, some of these guys, but further than that, I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't know how well known they're outside of the borders, but I suspect maybe Jack over at Vinyl Martini may be familiar with these guys. They are from Vancouver. Maybe even Brian down in Toronto. There's Jason over in Ottawa. There's a fairly good, I would suggest, community of Canucks here in the vinyl community on YouTube. So I would suspect my Canadian friends will know these guys. But it is the third album from these guys in 1995, and it is a band called Odds, or sometimes referred to as The Odds. I'll take that out of the jewel case. It's a little easier to see. 1995, as I alluded to, this is probably best known for a couple of tunes, Eat My Brain and Truth Untold. Not much more I can tell you about it. You can probably find out on YouTube or stream them. Just your regular top 40 radio rock friendly band. I actually did see these guys live. I went with my son and my bestie Jen at the Saddle Dome in Calgary. It was one of those concerts put on by our local radio station, and there was several bands. I think Frozen Ghost, Odds, and several others I can't even remember. I think what was that? Rhymes with Orange. Just totally Canadian content, right? So Odds, that's the first one in O. Where can I set those? I should have brought my table over a little closer. There we go. Cheers, everybody. I hope you're all doing well. If I haven't said that already. Next up is another Canadian act. These guys, I've already shown them in my Lost Classics of the 90s. I think on one occasion for sure, but I'll start off with their first album from 94. And it is a band called Our Lady Peace. And that one I'm alluding to from 94 is called Navid. And that would have been certainly the most popular song on here. These guys were out of Toronto. Really good rocking band. Like I say, maybe I'll leave a link to the little video I did of Lost Classics of the 90s. Give you some idea, if you haven't heard of them, maybe what they sound like. Because on those Lost Classic videos, I was playing some of their music. What's on here? Super Satellite was a popular one. Starseed, Navid. It's actually a pretty good album. There's a lot of good tunes on here. So search them out if you have not already. Give them a listen. And I have another one here, their second one, their follow-up in 97, I guess this would have been, Clumsy. This one's called Clumsy. And I think this is the one I actually had playing in my Lost Classics of the 90s. Yeah. Probably showing more than I need to show here. You can search this stuff online pretty easily now. That Jeremy Taggart, the drummer on this band, he was really good. I really dig him. He's got some good groove. Yeah, Rain Matta, he was a vocalist, very unique vocalist. Mike Turner, Duncan Coots on bass, Mike Turner was guitar, and as I mentioned, rounding it out, Jeremy Taggart on the Skins. Decent drummer, good sound. I like him, but I only have the 2 releases by them. So that was Our Lady Peace. Next up, go with something that certainly is much more into my wheelhouse that I've had almost from the get-go. And I'm going to show you 2 of them here. I'll take them out of their outer sleeves so there's not so much glare. And the reason I'm going to show you 2 of them is they're actually 2 different versions. Most of you are familiar with Ozzy's Bark at the Moon, his 3rd album, introduction of Jakey Lee on guitar. This is the North American release, US, Canada. And then I have this one, same album, the UK release. And the only reason I show both of those is the US version has a different track listing, just a different running order, but it also has Slow Down, which the UK version does not. In lieu of Slow Down, they included Spiders. And so I just always preferred this version just because it's what I heard, I've been accustomed to. And then, of course, the titles on a couple of titles are different. Side 2 on the North American release kicks off with Center of Eternity. On side 2 of the UK version, it's just titled simply Forever, but it's the same tune. So it's just a different track listing and a couple of different titles. And the other thing about the North American version that I heard in Canada is the album kicks off with the title track, Bark at the Moon. And that grabs you right away, or it did for me anyway. The UK version, it starts off with Rock and Roll Rebel, which is a great tune, but just not sure why they decided not to go with the title track on this one, and they did on this one. But that's record labels and marketing, and who can ever figure that out? The other little subtle differences on here are the label on the vinyl itself. On the North American, Canadian version here, you can see the font is the same as the album, Ozzy Bark at the Moon. And the UK version is just a simple printed font. Nothing different about that. Well, there's a lot different about that, but I mean, it's just a plain font as opposed to trying to be like the album cover. So now that I've taken all those out, I've got a hell of a mess here. So I'm just going to place those on the bottom. And next up is more Ozzy. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of O's, so Ozzy is going to be well represented. And this is one I had for not right from the beginning, but pretty early on. And it's his first EP, and it's from his Blizzard of Oz album, Mr. Crowley. And so Jet Records wanted them to put out a single, and so, which they never did, but they did go back and they recorded a single in the studio. And I guess initially with Kerslake doing the vocals, but it was redone. And that title, or that song, was called You Said It All. And that is the backing track on here. It's Mr. Crowley is live. It was live from the show in 1980 in Southampton. And it's backed with You Said It All and Suicide Solution. And it's a fantastic EP, if I say so. Like, the live version of Mr. Crowley is incredible. I mean, that's an incredible song to begin with. Another little tidbit about this little EP is, if you look at the label here, I'll try and hold it up close enough that you can see. Now, what I want you to make note of there is the speed written on the label, 33 RPM. It is not 33 RPM. It is 45 RPM. That's just a little tidbit about the label, a little error they made. And still a sticker on there, but it's not a price sticker. It's just a barcode. I think it was probably $5 at the time. I don't remember, so I'm just guessing. Next one I have is another EP from the next album, Dire Madman, and it is the Over the Mountain EP. I'll take that out of the sleeve as well. And this one is just the 2 tracks, Over the Mountain on side A, on side B, I Don't Know. And this one doesn't have any weird anomalies about it. It's got the right speed printed on the label, 45 RPM. That's yeah, those are a couple of the oldest vinyls I still have in my collection. When I began collecting vinyl again, the only ones I had left from back in the day were probably my Ozzy and a few Sabbath ones, Joan Jett, I think, and a couple others I can't think of off the top of my head, but not very many. But those ones have survived. Next up, got to give a shout out to my buddy Aaron for this one, Aaron Musa Alamir, only because I knew of this guy, but I didn't know that I knew of this guy. I didn't know he was doing his own stuff, but it's the bass player from Queens of the Stone Age and Caius, and that is Nick Oliveri. Oh, take that out of there. And this is volume 7, which came out in 2021, I think. And then he's actually done volume 8 and 9 since then. Good stuff. I mean, if you like that tuned down sludge metal, I don't know if I want to call it that. I sometimes are not a big fan of those definitions or those boxes of that we put artists in for genres. But if you like Queens of Stone Age and Caius, I suspect you'd probably like this. Like I say, I think he put out volume 8 and 9 in the same month, last month of 2024. And but those will have to wait. I was just saying to my buddy Steve, the price of vinyl is, I'm not going to go on a soapbox about the price of vinyl, but it does make it somewhat almost prohibitive for me to buy a lot of records these days, just the cost. And that's not all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to go on a poor me rant about it. There's many others in worse positions, so that's the least of my problems. Next up and final, rest in peace to Sinead O'Connor. She passed away back in July of 2023. This is the only thing I have on vinyl. I do have a couple of her cassettes from back in the day, or I should say Jen, my bestie. She had a couple of her cassettes. I think I forget what the follow-up of this was. Emperor's New Clothes or something. I can't remember. But the big one on here, of course, is Nothing Compares to You, the cover she did of Prince's tune. And I've said it before, she really owns it on this album. She made that song her own, and I think she did it like nobody could. It's just an amazing song, and she was an amazing artist in spite of any real world problems she may have had. Rest in peace to her. So that's it. That's my O's for this awesome alphabet thread. Like I say, if you've not seen any of these videos or been aware of it, go check out some of the other people in the VC taking part in this thread or have taken part. Some have finished the alphabet already. But yeah, certainly go over to Jacob's channel, check him out. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I do really appreciate it. Also want to make mention that I just surpassed 500 subs here sometime in the last week or two. I don't know. It was actually my buddy Steve who brought my attention to that, because the truth of the matter is I don't pay a whole lot of attention other than when there maybe is a spike suddenly. And yeah, he made a little video there and mentioned that I had surpassed 500 subs, and yeah, so thanks everybody. That is awesome. I don't want to make a whole big deal about it, other than to acknowledge that I do appreciate those who take the time to watch my videos and comment and like and whatever participation is you see fit, that's fine by me. So yeah, leave a comment, like. Remember just to be kind, cordial. There's enough shit in the world. We don't need to be dealing with that here in our world of hobby and escaping a lot of the stuff that we get tired of outside. So that's enough of my soapbox rant. It wasn't really a soapbox. Just, take care, everybody. I enjoyed doing this. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I'll see you again next time here at Twanger's Turntable when we're going to do the letter P. Although I did want to do another video, but we'll see. I've got the grandkids this weekend and all that other stuff that happens, so it doesn't allow me a lot of time to do this, but I'll do it when I can, and hopefully that won't be too long. Until then, I'll see you later. Take care, everybody. Cheers.